Catherine, do you recognize that song?
I know the song, but
That
can't
was not
replace
the
it.
that was not the original. That was a cover.
Oh, really?
That's
It's really
that's
good.
that's probably the best cover as far as covers go I've ever heard. However, remember there were I think 10 guys doing that. The original Beach Boys did it with 4 guys.
Yeah, that's
Bill, what do
because
you think?
we did it with the studio.
Say again?
I said those were the days we were proud of internal combustion engines.
And very inefficient ones too. Jill, I didn't hear what you said. What did you say?
Sorry.
Well, what I was saying is that the Beach Boys did it with four people because they were in a studio,
Yes,
so they could add the voices over it.
they
I
had
like what
multi-track.
ABBA did.
Nevertheless, right?
Yeah.
Those
I mean,
guys.
what's really impressive though is what they were doing without headphones
Yeah,
and like they were doing, yeah, that was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Well, both groups were amazing. I used to love the Beach Boys, and that song, Jack. I hate to tell you, that song was released 51 years ago.
I know.
Okay. Let's do some silk reeling.
Okay, and I'm shocked. It was within my lifetime.
Well, it was well within my lifetime.
I think Malcolm more than 51 years ago.
I did not. Well, I don't know. I looked it up. Google said 51 years ago. So
I think maybe 61.
63 they said. But who knows? They could be wrong too.
Okay.
Head turns. And center. And head rolls. And reverse. And down to center and back up. Forward spinal wave. And reverse. And good. The windmill. And good. And squats, starting on the left leg. And then the right leg. And the left leg again. And the right leg again. And prayer position. Okay, hands on the knees, up slowly. Keep your head down a moment. Shoulders. And reverse. And the other side. And reverse. And alternate. And reverse. And double. And reverse. elbows, and reverse. And the other side. And reverse. And alternates. And reverse. And double. And reverse. And go. And reverse. And the other side. And reverse. Alternates. So there are 3 ways to do cloud hands, Yun Shou, cloud hands. The common way that most people know looks like this. The second way to do it is similar, but instead of describing a big circle, it's more straight across. And the third one was the one we were just playing with, right? Where you sink into your qua and then spiral open. And sink now into your right qua and spiral open to the left. And sink in the left qua and spiral open to the right. So that's the one we were doing the other week when I was talking about Dan Bien, single wick, right here. It's the same thing. When you do this version, the third version, remember it's 3-dimensional. There's a temptation to just think it's shoe circles, but there's a lot of ping in there too. So I'm going to turn sideways a little bit, right? So you sink here, and now you push out, and then you come around, all right? Sink into the right qua, right? And when you sink into the right qua, you're going to sink into the Ming Men. So your chest is going to be empty, all right? The chest is empty, and the hand, in a sense, hides inside the chest, all right? So I'm back here. I'm not in my chest, all right? And then I'm going to come into my chest. From my lower back, I'm going to come into my chest. And that motion is going to push out. And then you complete to the other side. So sink into the qua and into the Ming Men, and now come up into the chest and finish. Now, that's kind of a mechanical way of saying it. In order to have you understand, it's not just a movement this way. It's also a movement forward and back. What it really is a giant spiral, right? From the bottom of this foot, right? So you coil up, and when you coil up, you're coiling up into that foot. And then you spiral open from the bottom of that foot. Now I'm going to coil up in the bottom of the left foot and spiral open. this, what I'm trying to say, I hope this is clear, right? It's actually hard to say even when you're in the same room together. It takes a little while for folks to get this. It makes it even worse when you're on video because everything's kind of flattened out. So if we look at a spring, a spiral spring, well, it's flat, right? It just looks like it's going this way. But of course, it's also coming back and forth just as much because in fact, it's a circle, right? This makes sense? Yes? Good.
Hey, Malcolm,
Yeah.
are you, you're pushing off of your foot before you move your arm?
When you come
Slightly
down,
before?
right? The sequence, the chi path is always the same. Right? If you were to move your hand before you move your foot, the hand is just weak. Like, yeah, there's a little movement, right? It's when you move your whole body that the hand gets some power. So that's an excellent question because the answer is really important. You always move from the foot first. So just to repeat, and this is something you can repeat endlessly, right? It goes from your mind to your foot and then back up to your hand. It's a big spiral circle, right? You can think of the hand as going down and even energetically touching the foot. Huh? So I'm sinking in the quad. I'm spiraling down into my foot. If I'm going to do this to the left, I'm going to sink in the right quad. You sink. When you sink, it's going to disappear, right? Because you're actually closing down into the foot. So that's the wind up, and there comes the unwind. Wind up, unwind. Right? Wind up, unwind. Wind up, unwind. And your hand's actually making a circle. Right? It's not just back and forth. Slow. Stop. Slow. Get your mind on the bottom of your foot. Close. Go all the way down to the bottom of the foot. Screw it down into the ground. And now unscrew it. Screw it down. Yeah, unscrew it. Good, Joe. Right. And the other side. Watch this side. I'm going to do it on the left side. Nice and slow. You sink twice. This is called sinking. Sinking into the ground. Sinking into the danchan and then into the ground. All right? Once, right, gets you in position. Once. And then the second one winds you up and boom, then you come up out of that. So why do you want, this is pure silk reeling. It's spiral power. Why do you want to do that? Now, suppose somebody's coming up and he's going to give you a bear hug or something, right? So some big guy's coming up here, he's going to give me a bear hug. He's coming from this direction. What I'm going to do, since I can't escape him, is I'm going to let him bear hug me. I'm not going to fight him with my arms. in this hypothetical situation. What I'm going to do instead is sink into the ground. And then I'm going to come back up out of the ground. That's going to be much more difficult for him to deal with than me trying to fight him with my hands. Does that make sense, Jill?
I'm just wondering,
Yes.
so when you sink into the ground and you're in your Ming Man, is there ever a point where you're sinking into the ground, but you're also in your Tenjong?
Well, you know, you never really leave any part of the body. So it's not like 100%, 0%.
Right.
There's always some of you left in the Tanjong, all right? But what happens is one of the reasons to practice silk reeling is let's say you're going to coil up. So I'm going to coil up into the right quad and the right foot. People only do that like 25%. And that won't get you there. You need to do it like 90%, 95%. All right? And so you practice in order to get used to going really deeply into the movement. Now, this is also a classic drill in push hands. So imagine there's another me facing me, right? There's another me facing me, and he's going to be doing just the opposite of what I'm doing. We're not trying to beat each other. It's just a drill, right? So imagine there's a mirror there, right? And he's doing just the opposite. So our arms are coming together, click, and then click on the other side. We're not trying to beat each other up. We're just trying to do this drill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? You maybe do that drill for 10 minutes. All right? Why do the drill? The same reason that you do silk reeling. It's just to get used to the motion, and you start to realize after a while, oh, that other guy there, he feels really powerful. It makes me feel kind of weak. So I shouldn't be weak, so what should I do? Why is he powerful and I'm not powerful? Maybe it's because I'm not really sinking into the ground. Or I'm only going 30% of the way instead of 90% of the way. Maybe I'm drinking coffee instead of practicing, you know. Boom, boom, boom. This is a perfect example. This is a good one here. These are going to be strikes. These could be hand strikes or they could be elbow strikes, right? But watch where they come from. They come out of the ground. They come out of my legs, not out of my arms or my shoulders. If I'm just hitting with my arms, it's going to look like this. It's weak. All right? If I'm going to hit you, it's going to be with this leg or this leg. Watch. All right? It's not because I'm so strong. It's because I'm using my whole body, everything. All right, all the way from to the ground. Sink. Sink in the red. Sink in the blue, come back up. Sink in the red, come back up. Sink in the blue, come back up. Sink in the red, come back up. You know? When you sink, I know you know this, but when you sink, it's the same thing as compressing the spring. And then when you come back up, you're just releasing it. It's the spring that's got the power. Grandmaster Feng used to say, and this is actually an old saying, so he didn't make it up, but he used to repeat this, and I'll translate it into English. In your body, there are 5 springs. If you can manage, if you can do those 5 springs, you will not have any opponent under heaven. No one can beat you. Right? So, what are the 5 springs? Catherine, yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and especially the one in the middle. And they all work together at the same time. That's really what silk reeling is just getting used to moving like this. When you do the form, everything is silk reeling. But it's very hard to learn silk reeling in the form because the form is so complicated. So they invented the silk reeling sequence just so you don't have to worry about the choreography. It's very simple. Very simple. You can practice this really intensely. But you don't have to. You can also practice it very gently. What's important is that you touch on all the points inside with your mind, because where your mind goes, that's where your chi goes. So you can be absolutely relaxed. You still sink. It's just very light. Sink in the red. Sink in the blue. Sink in the red. Sink in the blue. All right? Okay. Guys, you have yourselves a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.